Graham, thank you very much indeed for joining me. George Galloway says Sir Keir Starmer has woken up to his worst nightmare after the result last night. A damning night for your party.
Well, in effect, the Labour Party didn't have a candidate that we were supporting. It's not a damning night for the Labour Party. It's a very bad night for Rochdale. They're now represented by the country's leading carpetbagger, who has represented, I think, 4 constituencies. None of those constituencies have gained from having him as the MP. His attendance in the House of Commons is not great when he has been an MP in the past. He's basically part of a political circus. He will be moved out of Rochdale at the next general election.
But the issue of Gaza and the war in Gaza isn't going to go anywhere quickly by the looks of things. Could this not impact at the general election? What does Sir Keir Starmer do now? Does he change his position? Does he stay where he is? What does he do? Because we could see independents with a similar stance as George Galloway campaigning in the future in different constituencies.
I think the thing about George Galloway is he's unique. I can't think of anybody else who has fought such aggressive, divisive campaigns in so many constituencies. And of course, he's not always won when he's campaigned. I think what the Labour Party has to do is be very clear on its policy in Gaza and the Middle East and elsewhere. I mean, the majority of people in Rochdale think that Rochdale is the priority, and looking after a town that has suffered from nearly a third in cuts to public services delivered by the local authority. It's suffered from a lot of social problems. That's what the Labour Party candidate, when he or she is chosen for the next general election, will be focusing on. Internationally, the Labour Party obviously has to take the principled position. We all want the killing to stop in Gaza, but not at the expense of the defence of Israel. Israel has a right to defend themselves, and not at the expense of the Palestinians living in Gaza. There has to be an agreed ceasefire by both sides, with the prisoners, the hostages, not prisoners, given back to Israel, and Israel will give back prisoners. That's the solution to this, not, which Galloway does, supporting the one party in this whole mess in the Middle East, Hamas, who actually their official policy is for genocide. So that has to be Labour's position, a principled position, looking for peace, not supporting a genocidal policy which Galloway does.
Yes, Graham, we heard there from a number of local residents in Rochdale, very unhappy with the result, some of them. Was the election campaigned on local issues? Lots of people concerned that this election simply on the basis of what's happening in a foreign conflict.
Well, I think that's right. I think the Labour Party chose a candidate that we couldn't continue to support because he'd made some anti-Semitic, racist comments. So did the Greens. The Conservatives, as I understand it, weren't happy with their candidate. It was a very strange general election, which didn't do democracy any favours at all. And one of the good things is we can put that right in the general election when it comes later this year, and I have no doubt that the Labour Party will be very careful and we will choose the best possible candidate that we can, who will focus on the problems that Rochdale have got. As I said, Rochdale Council, like many Labour-run councils in the north of England, has suffered nearly a third cut in its grants from central government. That's where we need to campaign on things that are important to Rochdale. They've not had the best policing over the last 20 years that they could have had. There have been problems with closures of part of the health service. Those are what a good Labour candidate will focus on in the general election.
And Graham, just quickly, just lastly, should we be concerned about the increase in postal votes? It's quite marked.
There has been a lot of discussion in Parliament this year. There's been a change in the regulations that apply to voting, so that you now have to go with a photo ID when you vote. I think there is a real gap in the security of elections around postal votes. So having looked at one side of the issue, I think we need to take a serious look at the security and integrity of the postal vote system.
Very interesting indeed. Thank you.